Welcome back to this podcast mini-series, WoW to Old School, where we're talking to WoW creators that jumped ship to Old School Runescape to kind of hear about all of their experiences, their perspectives, what they thought, how they're thinking. Just a whole lot of talking about two of the world's most popular MMORPGs. Today I'm talking with someone who approaches games with 100% in mind. A WoW retail completionist, a guideless Old School Runescape player. You gotta respect the play style. Enjoy this conversation with AnnieFuchsia. Annie, how long have you been playing World of Warcraft?
Oh God. Since let me think. Since 2009, 2010-ish. So that's around 15, 16 years.
What expansion was that?
That was Wrath.
It was Wrath,
Wrath of the
okay.
Lich King.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I was kind of late to the party compared to a lot of people that I know these days. But yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Even my friends that don't play anymore, they're always like, oh yeah, I played when it first came out, and then they just stopped playing after like TBC.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, like most people I know have played since the beginning, and the people who've quit, they quit around Wrath.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
very weird.
started in Wrath.
So yeah, I guess when you with all the classic stuff that happened, that was your first experience with actually playing classic in its true vanilla form then.
Yes.
Like in 2019.
Yes,
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there's a ton of stuff going on with World of Warcraft right now. There's like the Legion remix that just came out. There's Mop Classic. There's
yep.
Are they still doing Season of Discovery? Is that still happening over there?
I think Season of Discovery reached its end point, if I'm not mistaken. But they are cooking up like a new sort of, I don't know if we should call it a new season or a new what would I call it? Like they did a few different versions of Seasons of Classic, which is different from the regular Classic, because they have the Classic, which goes from Classic into TBC into Wrath, Cataclysm, etc. So they have the regular run through of that. And then on the side, they had these different projects that were named different things. Season of Discovery, I think, was the biggest and most popular one. Mm-hmm. And they have said that they're working on another one, but we don't know yet anything about it. But they're cooking something, apparently, is what they said.
Damn. It just seems like there's always new projects, like just different versions of WoW happening at all times over there. It's so hard to keep up with. Yeah. It kind of goes two ways, because on one hand, that means the WoW players always have something to do. But for anyone who is just remotely casual in any capacity, they get a bit overwhelmed, because it's like, okay, which one do I play now? Because especially when I think they released MOP Classic really close to a patch in retail. And there's definitely some overlap with the players between the two game modes. So some people decided to just focus on one of them because the other one happened at the same time. So yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming because there's so many different game modes that are available to play. Yeah, there's so many of them. It's been like that since I've first started. Like, I think it was like 2022 or 2023 is the first time I ever went in to like look at World of Warcraft, and it was already getting to that point. So they've definitely...
You had never played any WoW before that?
No, never ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my first time
That's
ever.
Even more rare.
Yeah, it was something I had wanted to do since I was like a little kid, and I didn't end up doing it until I was like 26 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like most people at least played a little bit at some point, maybe in vanilla or TBC or something, just like a little bit. So that's kind of rare. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, that means since you started playing, it's been a lot going on.
Yeah, nonstop. There's always something going on. Yeah. But given all that is going on, like all these game modes and all the ruckus recently, what is your kind of general thoughts on the World of Warcraft world right now? Like when you look over at that community, at the game, just like collectively, what are your thoughts on World of Warcraft right now?
I'm really split on what I think, honestly, because I feel like I don't like that it's so split up into so many different projects. I would have preferred if there's just one game, because it becomes a bit overwhelming. And sometimes in terms of time as well, I feel like I can't keep up with everything. The classic run through is going kind of quickly. I was playing the classic, so in 2019, and then I played classic TBC, and I played a little bit of classic Wrath, but just barely. And then with Cataclysm and MOP, I just haven't had time because I'm trying to also keep up with things I'm doing in retail. And also I've been trying to play a lot more variety games in general these days. And it's just impossible to keep up with everything. And the same with Season of Discovery. I think Season of Discovery was actually a really cool game mode that came out. But then that one also started ramping up pretty quickly, in my book at least. Maybe people thought it was slow, but from my perspective, it's like, oh, like everyone's level 20 right now. This is the it level, you know? And then suddenly you're like, okay, now it's level 30 and there's a new dungeon, new raid or new something. And then now everybody has to be level 40 and now it's 50. And from my perspective, it felt too fast. And I think that's the general feeling I have with WoW overall, because WoW has this vertical progression that is replicated in all of the different game modes. And it's just so difficult to keep up with, because if you are gone for some time and want to come back, you have to first work hard to catch up with where everybody else is. So when I was trying to get back to Season of Discovery in phase 4, I think it was, I don't even remember exactly, I discovered, well, I first need to level up, and then I need to do this, I need to do that, and then I can, join with the new content that's out. And it feels a bit demotivating, or like just not so appealing when you realize that you have to work to a certain point to then be, attending the party. And I think that's something that's sort of repeated across the entire franchise in all the different WoW modes. So ultimately what I decided to do was just focus retail, because that's the main game that I've spent the most time in. And that's where I've been, committing to. I don't know if you're aware of how I play the game, but I normally go for like achievements, and most of my achievements and things are on my retail account. So I just decide that that's probably the best time spent for me to continue that commitment, rather than, half playing all of these other different modes instead.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about that, trying to grasp all the different game modes of, what that's actually doing to the player base, because I've noticed that in contrast to the RuneScape world, where it's a pretty distinct line between RuneScape 3 and old school players, World of Warcraft players are pretty they've got some variety to their World of Warcrafts. Like there are some people that are exclusive to just classic or like anniversary servers, whatever. But there's also a lot of players that dive into all of them. Like they don't have a problem going into all of them. And I can only imagine how tough it is to keep up with everything because of just the structure of WoW servers and expansions and new patches. I could definitely see that being like completely like scatterbrained about it and not knowing what to prioritize. It sounds pretty rough to try and keep up.
Honestly, yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, I sometimes wonder if Blizzard is confused themselves. For example, when MOP Classic came out, almost at the same time as the retail patch, I felt a bit like question mark, because MOP Classic is pretty retail-y. Like it's not very classic. And a lot of the classic players have over time fallen off because the game is getting closer and closer to what retail is. So it's not really for them anymore.
Yeah.
And then a lot of retail gamers are feeling like, oh, this is starting to get to the expansions that I was playing the most. So I feel like that overlap of players is becoming more retail. And considering that, I was always confused why Blizzard would then put both of those patches like a week away from each other, or 2 weeks maybe it was, I'm not sure. Because that felt very counteractive. Like it didn't really make sense in my head to make the retail people kind of like compete with themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's a great retail expansion, and the dates didn't really make sense to me. Because if we look at a lot of classic players, like Guzu, for example, since you're familiar with him, since he plays a lot of RuneScape now, he never played Mist of Pandaria originally, like ever. So he's never played it. Yeah, and I think that's the case for a lot of classic people because they quit way before that. Because for them, the game became more retail at that point. So it's like less interesting. And I think that's, I sometimes feel that Blizzard maybe didn't really realize that a lot of classic people have fallen off at that point, and MOP might in fact be a bit more interesting for retail people.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like Blizzard is trying to like claw and scratch for the right answer almost, and there's so many answers.
It's so complicated. Yeah, it's so difficult. What are they supposed to do?
Yeah,
because I might be completely wrong too, and maybe there's no clear answer really. It's just
it definitely seems that way.
There's so much overlap.
Yeah, there is.
It's hard to like know where the gray zone turns into like white or black.
Yeah,
it's just so tough.
To rewind for a second, I wanted to touch on something that you had mentioned because I actually had it as a point to ask you about of just your general background of your play style and like your vibe of approaching World of Warcraft, because the last guy I talked to, Ampy, that dude, he's a gamer. He is like on another level of just like competitive, hardcore speed run, just craziness, like polar opposite of my play style. So it's very interesting seeing how all of like basically everybody who's trying old school, looking back and seeing what kind of player they are. You said that you're more of like a collector. So is that like kind of how you approach WoW, like most versions of it? You just kind of like want to do like a completionist thing?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
I didn't really bother doing it too much with classic WoW because I felt like, well, this is the old game of what I'm currently playing anyways, like retail. So I didn't really go for achievements there. But whenever I play something new in general, that's generally the mindset I have. So this extends to any kind of games. Like when I play RPGs, I like 200% games. I like to get all the achievements. So if I'm just going to throw some games out there, like Cyberpunk, Hogwarts Legacy, Space Marine 2, I'm working on now. I have like 2 achievements left. The most random games you can think of, like I go for 100% achievements because I like to just complete that platinum trophy. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I like playing things. I just like collecting everything. And and that's the main way that I would play World of Warcraft as well. But one thing, which is, I guess, a bit of a fun fact, I did go for server first level 90 back in original MOP Classic. Sorry, not MOP Classic, just original MOP. So I did have, a teeny weeny experience that Ampy has. I mean, his is more like, on a world basis. Mine was just my server.
Yeah.
And my class. But I did get level 90 first on my server.
That's insane. to be the first person. And yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. I just spent time like leveling from 85 to 90, like multiple times. And I made a whole route and everything. And I made a whole plan. And then I just stayed up all night. And I think I got to max level in 7 hours, 7.5 hours or something like that. So it wasn't as hardcore as the stuff MP does, but yeah.
Yeah,
I got my run first.
It's a healthier goal to go for than...
Yeah, a little bit more reasonable. But I get it though. Like the adrenaline of being speedy and... Because this was before I was streaming and people were like whispering me like, hey, like, do you stream? Like, I want to see what you're doing. Because people can like /who the person.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting. Like being able to compete like that, it was fun. But overall, the way that I generally enjoy the game or games in general is just exploring everything. Do everything that's possible to do, especially if it's tracked. Like do every dungeon, explore every zone, any kind of random activity, just everything.
Gotcha. That's always a surefire way to kind of enjoy a game to the fullest because you don't miss anything if you're trying to like 100% it. So that's good. It's just a little more daunting to have that mindset towards like MMOs in general, just because if you're going into an MMO that's been around for 10 plus years, it's like, completionist is a little difficult suddenly. Yeah. But
yeah, it takes a long time.
Definitely.
It also allows you to discover really random things sometimes that you realize most people will never experience this because it's not needed for anything. In RuneScape, I can see that so much as well. And I think being this kind of completionist gamer, playing a game like RuneScape makes it a lot of fun too, because you get to explore everything and you learn the game at a much slower but deeper level.
Definitely,
and I think that's the way that I enjoy things.
Yeah, it's definitely a good game designed for exploration and definitely collecting. Collecting is a huge thing people look forward to on Old School.
And skilling, because I like, that's a big part too, because what you want to do when you like to grind and collect and things like that, having progression bars is like addictive. It's like, okay, I need to max this one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, RuneScape has that with all of the skills and stuff. Like when I see that, I'm like, come on, Blizzard, why do we only have 2 professions? Like, let me have all of them.
Yeah, the professions.
It's really good.
How is that, by the way? Being able to, if you see a tree, you could chop it, or if you see an ore, you can go mine it, and you don't have to worry about what profession you are. It's got to be kind of nice. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And it really builds on the horizontal progression that I think is so good in MMOs, but that, I don't know, WoW always kind of went the other way. Mm-hmm. But I think horizontal progression is so good.
I definitely prefer it after experiencing different versions of WoW and different MMOs that kind of mimic WoW. Horizontal progression just feels much more satisfying because there's so many more things that feel satisfying, like achievements that are possible and everything.
Mm-hmm. And you take a break, you come back, and you continue. You don't feel like you missed anything.
Yeah, definitely. On top of all of the WoWs, all the versions of them, there's constantly a discussion going on, at least amongst the WoW creators, talking about this mysterious, sought-after Classic Plus. Mm-hmm. Are you one of those that is hoping to see a Classic Plus, or is it not really one of the, you don't want to add any more WoWs into the archive?
Honestly, I'm really curious about it, because I actually think Classic Plus is the best potential to add more horizontal progress. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for, level cap 60, don't go above that, and add more content at that level. Add more different kinds of gearing or skilling systems that doesn't require you to level up, doesn't require your gear to be completely useless after some time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have that much confidence in Blizzard being able to keep it up in the way where it's going to last long term. But that is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And I hope, I think it does have some potential. I think it could be really fun. And my hope is, especially with the recent interest in RuneScape, that Blizzard will take that to heart and hopefully take some lessons from that to see if they could create something, because I think people are kind of tired of the vertical progression which happens in every single WoW mode.
Yeah, hopefully they do take some notes. Hopefully there's somebody bringing it up in the board meetings.
I really hope so. Because I know Final Fantasy 14, I don't know if you were aware of it, but there was a big surge of interest in FF14 like 4 years ago or so. A lot of WoW streamers were testing it out.
Yeah,
kind of similar to what happened to RuneScape now. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So I think Blizzard in retail did learn a lot from them. I think that's one of the reasons that we have housing now, for example. Yeah. Or, well, it's coming. I think Final Fantasy was the game that introduced the idea of housing to a lot of WoW players, including myself. I had no interest in housing beforehand. I had no idea why people want housing. And then I experienced it in FF14, and I was like, wait, this is actually so cool. Like the potential, and you don't have to be a weird RP person to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the RP people will enjoy it, but even like regular people, because you have a place where you can hang out and like you can have events, and you can, well, even if you don't do the social aspect of it, just having your own house, being able to customize it, like that's such a cozy and nice feeling. So I think Blizzard took a lot from the FF14 popularity, and I'm hoping that they will take some stuff from RuneScape now, because I think that's what Classic Plus needs, a bit of influence from other games that have done really well in a sort of horizontal progression way, because I think that's the potential secret of having Classic be interesting for a longer period of time.
Yeah, if they're able to find a way to integrate a horizontal progression system into the structure of this, like, the theme park experience of WoW, if they're able to find more ways to do that, then I think that's going to be the most successful approach for something like Classic Plus. But also, they should have looked at RuneScape far before Old School ever existed, because we've been having housing over here since 2006. So
I heard,
we've been ahead of the game a little bit with that stuff.
Yep.
But it is cool to see, like, being able to integrate it, because obviously the Final Fantasy and WoW have a lot more similarities from a structural standpoint. So it's good that they are looking over at Final Fantasy to kind of see how they can integrate successful features like that. If there is ever a Classic Plus sort of situation, they'll take
I do think
more
that's
things
what
like
they're
that.
cooking right now.
Hopefully. That would be great.
I feel like they've kind of hinted at least, so I hope they don't disappoint, because,
yeah, who knows? So I guess to transition from there, I guess we'll talk about Old School RuneScape a little bit. You were obviously a part of this mass migration of WoW players. It was very fast. It felt like everyone kind of came over within the same, like, 2 weeks. Just suddenly we're all experiencing Old School for the first time.
Yeah.
But you personally, what was your initial reason for seeing everybody try out the game and wanting to try it out yourself?
So for me personally, I've had phases of just testing out a lot of type of games. Like I did Final Fantasy 14 back when that happened, which was it was kind of random. I think I was one of the first, if not the first WoW player who was playing Final Fantasy 14. And I was enjoying it, and I noticed my audience was enjoying it too. So I was like, okay, well, this is nice. Let's get into it properly. And I had such a different experience, because for the first time, I was actually reading quests.
Yeah.
Because I never read them in WoW. I always had an add-on that just makes me skip everything and just go on to the next thing, right?
Right.
So in Final Fantasy 14, I was told immediately, no, you need to, like, get into the story. And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Those players love gassing up that story. Yeah, that they'll all die on that hill. Yeah.
For me, that was a completely different experience, but I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, sure, I'll try that. So I did, and I ended up having a lot of fun in it. Ever since then, people have been more interested in general to also see me play other MMOs. So I've checked out ESO, for example, Elder Scrolls Online, and I've checked not just MMOs, actually, also just RPGs. So I've played a lot of different type of games, and I've completed a lot of them as well, 100% achievement on some of them, and just different things. And RuneScape specifically is a game that has been mentioned in my community as well. And I was like, yes, I want to do it. I just don't know when. Same thing with, like, Guild Wars 2. That's another game that's on my, like, bucket list. Another game I really need to check out, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't found the right time, because MMOs are so difficult. You don't want to go in for just a day or two. Like, you want to put in more time to, like, get a good feel for it,
Yeah.
So with RuneScape and Guild Wars 2, and I think there's, like, a Star Wars MMO as well. These games, I had considered them, but I just didn't know when I'm going to do it. With then seeing some people like Guzu, and I think at the time maybe it was only him. I don't remember. Seeing him anyways play it, and I got more people then saying, well, Annie, you were going to play RuneScape, right? So why aren't you playing it now? Like, this is the perfect time. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I gave it like a week or two or something. And then I was like, okay, fine. You know what? Sure. Because people were like, I mean, now is the right time. Like, what are you waiting for at this point?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I think this is the right time. If everyone now is, like, opening their eyes to it, it's probably the right time to check it out. And yeah, so the reasoning is I love checking out games. I love MMOs in general. And there's a few MMOs that's on my sort of, like, list that I really want to play, because I've heard a lot of great things about them. And this felt like the right time, because everybody were wanting me to play it. At the end of the day, if we want to play a game, if our audience loves it, and if other people love to watch us play it, it makes us be able to put in more time into it and enjoy it properly. So it's a huge positive. It's really nice.
Definitely. Prior to making an account and, logging in for the first time, what kind of expectations did you have for Old School as a game? Because I'm assuming, was this the first time that you had ever logged into any form of RuneScape, or had you tried it like 15 years ago for a second, or
never tried it?
Never tried it.
It was the first time ever.
So
I'd seen pictures of the game here and there.
Yeah,
but that's about it. I never watched it, never played it.
So what kind of expectations, given like a screenshot or two that you've seen, or like a clip, like what were you expecting to experience in this game?
I think I was expecting a sort of like a low polygon classic WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I was expecting. I think there's definitely some things that does remind me of classic WoW, but it's still so different at the same time. And I think the most mind-blowing part of the whole thing is definitely all the different skills.
Oh, yeah.
Like being able to work on so many different things straight off the bat, like immediately. That's what I'm like, oh, just like one day in, oh, I get it. I know why people are addicted.
Yeah, it happens very fast when you start seeing all the skills interact with each other, intertwine, everything working together. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, this makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, I get it.
What about things like clicking to move? Was that weird at all? Like, have you played many games where you click to move your character around?
Yeah, the movement was a bit weird. I don't think I've actually properly played any game like that. I mean, there's like League of Legends, I guess, which is like the closest, I would say. In general, yeah, that was different. I got used to it pretty quickly, so it wasn't that bad. It was different.
My friend that came over from OnlyFans to try it for the first time with that big wave, his biggest gripe was, the whole tick system that the game runs on of like, clicking on a square and then your guy might not move for like a millisecond, like a noticeable millisecond.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a little weird to get used to, especially if the ping is off. Like you just never know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the reaction, or like I guess it's like a feeling of responsiveness felt off for sure compared to what I was used to.
Yeah, because in World of Warcraft, it's like buttery smooth WASD, like instant responses. Like obviously, unless there's huge lag spikes or something, but most part, it is just
it's really
immersed in your character, moving it exactly where and when you want. So it's definitely a different vibe entirely.
I think it's the movement specifically is one of WoW's greatest strengths in general.
Oh yeah, like, definitely.
Even people who hate the game will admit, like the movement and combat is super smooth.
It feels so nice.
It's very responsive. Yeah,
definitely.
So it's so going from that to point click, and then also like a bit of responsive delay or like a tick system. That was definitely jarring, at least for some time.
Oh yeah,
but it's not so bad. Like I think it's still fine. I think when you're just moving around and doing relatively simple quests, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do think PvP makes it feel it's like a first realization when you start playing the game, and then you get used to it and it's fine. And then you play PvP and it's like, oh, okay, wait, this is really awkward.
Oh yeah, PvP is a different game entirely.
Because then you really feel the tick part again, and it's like, oh, okay, wait, it's the shock of the delay again. It's actually crazy. Like some of the PvP things I've seen from people, like with the gear switching and everything, like people are actually insane. Yeah,
it's an entirely different universe of RuneScape with PvP. It's that stuff. PvP, it's almost like I feel like it could throw new players off just by looking at it, not even trying it, but just looking at it. It could be like, I'm never going to try anything to do with that. Like, it's very terrifying looking. But
it is.
So do you remember like your first, I don't know, about 7 days of playing, like just your first week of consistently logging in and playing, like what your first impressions of Old School was?
From a person who likes progression and collecting and things like that, I loved it. Honestly, it was so easy to get into. I immediately see different skills I can progress, and I think it's maybe a little bit overwhelming. But as soon as I was guided to follow the what was it called, the the advisory on the, what is it called?
Oh yeah, the activity advisor or whatever it's called.
Yes, activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I got used to using that, it was really smooth because I would just choose, okay, next quest. Okay, next quest. And then you could also clearly see like what this quest requires this skill. And it's like, oh, okay, I can work on this skill. And then I had something to like follow. There was a plan. There was a red thread. When I was able to start using that, it started feeling really smooth.
That's so funny that you mentioned that because, well, a little background, when Soda Poppin' first started his old school stuff, his, I don't know if it was his chat or something, had told him, follow the activity advisor. And that's what he did, which it took him, I think it went from doing Witch's Potion to Goblin Diplomacy to Ernest the Chicken, like all those free-to-play quests. And he's going in blind. He was insisting on going in blind, doing like no guides. And if you do those quests, like those very simple free-to-play quests that were put into the game in like 2003, it's miserable if you don't know where to go or what to do. Like they are so... they're insufferable.
I enjoyed that because I played No Quest Guide too.
Did you?
And yes, I did. The quest is a Goblin Diplomacy. I think that was the one.
The one where you
or
dye
at least
the armors?
One of the ones. Yes.
Yeah.
So in the end, when they asked for a brown one, you know what I did?
What?
I was like, okay, wait, let's think about this. Okay, if you mix, if you mix yellow with like this, then you get this color. Okay, so now we have green, and then we have, so yellow and blue we got green, blue and red we got purple. If you mix green and purple, I'm pretty sure that becomes brown. I was trying to create a brown piece of armor.
It's very understandable.
I was walking because I didn't realize that they asked for the original. So I was walking everywhere, and I had to farm. I think I had to refarm some of the parts to create the dyes. And then I tried to like put it together, and then it didn't work. I couldn't. Like, I can't mix green with purple. It just wouldn't work. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Okay, let me go and talk to them again. Maybe they'll give me another hint.
That's so funny.
Either I had to talk to them or I read the quest log. I don't remember which one it was. But I basically opted into just, let's see if I can get some more information. And then they mentioned the original color. And I was like, or like original form. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, this gave you the punchline of the whole quest to let you know what to do next, basically.
Yeah, I was legitimately trying to create a brown dye, and I think I did Google in the end, and I was right. It is supposed to give brown. Whatever the mixture was it green and purple? I don't remember. It actually does mix to become brown, but it just didn't work in the game.
Yeah.
So I needed to
too many layers. Too many layers there for the game to understand.
Like mix the dyes once, not twice.
Yeah.
But no, there was a lot of things like that though, and I think that's also what made the game enjoyable. Figuring things out, because you have to read everything. I mean, even now, because I still continue. I'm still guideless when I play, and I've gotten into like a habit of, okay, I need to talk to every NPC that's like related to anything, and I need to keep reading the quest information in case it's updated. And I need to also always note whatever items I've picked up from this quest. And then also I need to note what quests were required for this quest, because I need to go and check back at that quest to see what rewards were given from that quest, because it might be related to what I'm doing now. And or what skill is required. Oh, like 33 magic. Okay, I'm probably gonna need telekinesis for something. So like I've had to like get into all of that stuff, and honestly, I think that's what makes it so fun.
Definitely, 100%. There's not too many players that approach the game that way, but I think that is always going to be the best way to experience old school if exploration is something that you really, really enjoy. So that's awesome that you're experiencing it that way. To touch on the activity advisor thing again, what I told Soda, the reason why he went to the activity advisor, because basically, I don't know if you did this as well, of opening the advisor and going top down, like just let the top thing kind of serve as like what you do next.
I would ask the chat to pick one from the ones that are advised.
Yeah, okay, that's way better idea.
So I guess in a way I was guided to one direction. Like I would say, okay, these three are currently available. Which one should I go for? Yeah. And then they would say this one. I was like, okay, I'll go for that one.
Because choosing it like top down, like onto the next. Yeah, he was just choosing like top one and then next top one, next top one.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is his WoW brain being totally present in Old School RuneScape. Like the whole linear, this is the next step I take, here's what I do next sort of thing. Because that is 20 years of playing World of Warcraft of like taking a linear path and going on that ride to, level up.
Can you not do it that way? Because it makes sense in my brain to do that. No?
Yeah. He like you could totally do it that way too, but it's almost like you're restricting yourself in a way, like a self-imposed restriction in Old School, because there's just, you can play any way you want. Like you are not confined to any sort of guide or a task list or anything. It's a weird concept to grasp if like World of Warcraft has been your grind for the last 15 years. It's hard to go from theme park to sandbox sort of thing.
So from like a RuneScape POV then, or like a RuneScape person POV, how would you expect people to do that instead? Because when you tell me that he used an activity advisor and he was picking the first quest there and like would continue that progress, for me that makes sense, but maybe that's my WoW brain. So what would you think is like the thing that would make sense for you instead?
Well, it's a hard question to answer because my first account was in like 2006. My RuneScape looked like this RuneScape initially. It was like, if you had played Classic back when it was actually Classic, It's really tough for me to kind of envision not only a new player, but a new adult player to like be in their shoes.
Right.
Because like we were all just kids playing back then as our first experience. So it's a whole different, I guess, mindset of, that whimsical feeling of exploration and not knowing what's efficient. And I gave Soda a whole Google document of all of these things that were really in no way efficient. But I wanted him to go experience different things in the game that the game would never directly tell him to go try. Like I had him go make his own bronze armor. Like nowhere in the game.
Oh, you gave him quests?
Like kinda. I was just like, go experience this. Like go mine some tin and copper and make some armor sort of thing. And then I gave him some things that were efficient, but just letting him know that like, this is the meta, but you shouldn't really follow it. You should just go explore, click NPCs, talk with things, look for quest icons, and just sort of be a part of the world.
The amount of people who told me do waterfall.
Oh yeah.
Do waterfall.
Oh,
do waterfall. Do water. Like for weeks, I was like, guys, I'm not gonna do waterfall.
Yeah. That's
because I'm gonna do it when it's like the natural way to do it. People who do waterfall for efficiency reasons, they know exactly what they're doing too. And if I'm going in there blind, I wouldn't know if maybe there's something dangerous there, and I can't like spoil the quest for myself. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do it when my level is appropriate. I don't care if things are cheesable. And the same with, is it called Stronghold? Stronghold, right? With the
Stronghold of
levels.
Security? Like the...
Yes.
Yeah, 4 levels. Yep.
Yeah. So that one, I was like, no, I don't want quick money either. I'm not going to do it. But in the end, I did end up doing it because I started the house quest.
Oh, Witch's House?
No, the one where you can create your own house.
Oh, the Daddy's Home mini quest thing.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. And that quest is so expensive.
Yeah, it is.
And I was broke. And I hate the feeling of starting something and I can't complete it. So I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to do the thing that you were talking about. Was it Stronghold? Okay, I'm going to go for it. I will still go in blind, but I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I was avoiding like efficiency routes because I wanted to just experience the game in like a natural way. Same with crabbing. Like even at this point, like I stopped myself around attack level 60, I think it was 60 or 65, because I don't want to be I don't want to feel like I'm over leveled. I rather want to work on like other things to make it balanced and just make it more like a proper first experience, basically.
Yeah, the whole gem crab, because I mean that thing got introduced as you guys came over basically, and it has created a new, I don't even know if it's technically a problem, but it does make a lot of players like their progression's kind of skewed if they just AFK for weeks on end. Like that was possible before, but it wasn't as accessible and easy to do. So now tons of new players are just like AFKing 80 strength before they get Dragon Slayer completed, sort of thing. And it's very
exactly.
weird.
I didn't want that.
Yeah, that's never happened before. Like, no way.
Yeah. So I do tend to sometimes ask for guidance also, like, am I at a good level for this? Like, without telling me what the quest is about, just am I at a good level? And also, normally you can also tell by the quest requirement that's like listed in the quest.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you may not realize, because I think I experienced a couple quests where the requirement is low, but there's some high level mobs nearby. And that's kind of scary. But the point is that you don't actually have to interact with them. And so that's always a little bit scary when you're going in blind, because you're like, oh wait, do I need those guys? I am assuming not, because the requirement said this much. But yeah.
So with the whole like going in blind play style, what are your general thoughts on the structure of old school quests in this? Since it's, people point out all the time, and I'll point it out as well, of just how unique Old School RuneScape's quests are compared to literally every other MMO out there. So what are your thoughts on how they work?
My how they work, or the content of them? Like
both.
Like
just the fact that it's a store. There's stories going on sometimes, and it's not like fetch and kill quests. Just like that.
I love that. Yeah, it makes it really unique. Every quest is a little story. I also love how there's a lot of humor put into the quests.
Definitely.
Which I was introduced to really early. Like the Romeo and Juliet quest, one of the early ones that I did. There's a lot of really funny quests. And I think with games like WoW, a lot of it is fetch quests. I mean, if you get into it, there are some funny stories as well. But most of it, in terms of what actions you're taking, is basically just fetch this or kill this.
Yeah.
But in RuneScape, it's a lot more like the story itself, like the different little stories that are being told. And sometimes it might be really silly too, where like you go to a person in the game, or an NPC in the game, and he wants something, and then you go and get it, and you come back and say, oh wait, I also want this other thing, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say so before? So there's like kind of like humor and frustration sometimes with quests, especially if you're playing blind. Again, if you're not playing blind, I don't think you'll feel it, especially if you're playing with like a quest helper, because there's a lot of quests where like there's that one quest, what was it called? Just above Falador, with the anvil.
Oh, Doric's quest?
Oh yeah, I think it's Doric's quest, where he asks you to bring a bunch of ores.
Yeah.
But he doesn't ask for them all at once, so you have to like keep going back and forth. I think that was the one.
I didn't know he didn't ask for it all at once. That's so funny. I actually didn't know that.
If I'm not mixing it up, I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's really funny if that's true, because I've always just gotten that pre-written dialogue of like, oh, how convenient, you have everything I need in your inventory. Like, that's awesome.
I was told about that afterwards, where he says that if you already have everything in your bags, or maybe that's what maybe I'm mixing it up, maybe it is once, but but if you know beforehand, you don't have to go and fetch them. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of things like that where you have to like go back and forth. And that little part of like needing to essentially travel in the game, I think also makes you feel more like deeply connected to the quests. You remember them more. Admittedly, once you've done a lot of quests, some of them might blur into each other, but if you take a look at them and like read them, then it's like, oh yeah, that's it. Like, I remember that. Whereas quests in WoW, it's like, yeah, there's this quest over there. Like, did you ever do it? It's like, I have no idea if I've done it before. Like, I can even read the quest text and I'll be like, I have no idea. But with these quests, I may need to be reminded of the details, but if I look at them, especially if I see the quest text, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of taking the time to read it properly, which makes it like ingrained in the brain in a different way.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the quests. It's like the whole reason I got started on YouTube was because I made a series doing all the quests the order that they were put into the game, and it was awesome going into every single story, like going through the details of it just to kind of create a story out of the stories. It's really cool how in-depth some of them go, and especially since some of them are really old quests, like the writing is still pretty good. I don't know if you've done many of the newer quests, like 2016 and on, like the old school exclusive quests, but they got really, really good. Like the writing is amazing.
Yeah.
So hopefully you get to experience all of them down the road.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think that's my sort of plan in the future too, to stick to doing things. I know that it means it's going to take a long time, but I want to like overall, like over time, to go through all of the quests, guideless, just to get into them properly. Because I think it's more fun that way. But it does mean that it can take a really long time.
Yes.
There was one quest that I did recently. I forgot what it's called. But I had to, there was a statue that was broken that needed to be rebuilt, and the head of it they needed to make a new design for the head. And then there were these like different factions with the different colors. And I needed to befriend one of them and like rank up by giving them ores. Do you remember that quest?
Yeah, it's I mean it's the Keldegrim dwarf, the first quest in there. The oh my god, I don't know why I can't think of the giant dwarf. Yeah, giant dwarf.
Yes,
I think
it is giant dwarf. Yes, I think that's it. So that's another one where I had to when I would I'll go to them, and then they ask me for like certain ores, and then I or bars, maybe it was. I give that to them, and then they ask for another set of whatever ores or bars, and then I go back and again and again and again.
Yep. I made a whole song about that quest, about that part of the quest of joining a company and working for them and going and getting the ores that they need. I think I made the song because I was like upset at the time. Like it made me mad to the point where, like, I gotta make this into a positive thing somehow. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was really funny. I was also going crazy because my sprint would be running out. So I'm like walking like slowly because I can't sprint anymore.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
It was funny. Yeah, and even the other quests nearby, like the one where you had to like get the whole outfit and the weapon as well. Like a lot of those little parts there were like back and forth a lot. Yeah. And I think it's part of, in a way, it becomes like part of the humor in it because it becomes funny. Like, no way I have to go all the way back there again.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's almost like them just messing with you. Like, it's a fun,
exactly.
You know, it keeps you in your place, like as an adventurer and like not a hero, like, you know, like, oh, champion in World of Warcraft. It's like, no, you're just a guy here. Like, you're just some random adventurer guy. So it's cool to kind of get back on track a little bit with the just design of Old School in general, because I know you have been a huge advocate. I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but essentially you've highlighted the fact that progression matters in Old School RuneScape. That's been a huge discussion with the migration of WoW players, of just kind of highlighting this fact that your progress in Old School will remain your progress, your meaningful progress, no matter what updates come out. So what is your experience with that so far? Like that you've kind of seen in contrast to what you've experienced with your years of playing World of Warcraft? Yeah,
the progression just feels, like you said, it feels meaningful. Like I feel like I can take breaks and I can come back and I don't feel demotivated. So I think, for example, if I was a new player playing World of Warcraft retail, I would probably, like if I end up taking a break, I would probably be very unlikely to go back. Because what am I going back to? To restart? Because there's like Final Fantasy 14, the way that I feel with that is the strong main story quest line. So I have progressed until the last expansion, and if I go and play again, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I have a plan. I won't feel like I've lost anything. I don't have to restart anything because I will pick up the story from where I stopped and continue. And with with RuneScape, I feel the same way. Like because I do stream a lot of different games, right? Like I've recently taken a break from RuneScape, although I did have a RuneScape day like a few days ago or like a week ago, but I don't feel demotivated to play RuneScape because I feel like my progress matters. And there's like a red thread that eventually will reach a completion. So, for example, I finished all the free-to-play quests, and then now I'm working on like the normal member quests, and so that's one part of the progression. And then there's also the progression of the different skills, which kind of go hand in hand because many quests require skills. So when I look at the different quests I'm going to do, I have the different skill sets that I want to work on at the same time, and that feels nice. Like that feels like if I took a break, it's not like, oh no, now I've like missed out and now it's too late. Now why should I bother? It feels like, yeah, no problem. I'll get right back on it. Like, right. So what was the last thing I did? Oh yeah. I was doing bird runs. Yeah, you know what? Let's get back on that because I do need that skill for this quest I want to do.
Right.
So I was almost there, but I'm missing one skill. How convenient. I can, pick right back up from that point. And it's a good thing that I was progressing it before because I still need to do this quest.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice feeling. It makes it playable at any point. You can always go back and play, which I think is so important in like today's society in 2025 when a lot of people are really busy. Like people have jobs, people have families, people have other things to do. People also tend to have a lot more games to play these days. I think 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there weren't that many games that even existed. Whereas today, people dip into a lot more games in general. And that's at least what I have experienced myself and also a lot of like people that I see. And a game like RuneScape is a feasible game to have that you hop back into every now and again compared to WoW. I think people who play WoW very casually it eventually end up just dropping off because it's like, you know what? I don't want to restart my progress again. I did last time and I never even reached the end of the raid because like I got busy in the end. And it's like, I don't want to restart that just to not get anywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's funny because I call it casual friendly, but it's also very hardcore because you can go in really deep. Like it's not casual friendly in the sense that there's nothing to do. There's so much to do, but it's casual friendly in the sense that if you have lost time, you don't lose your progression.
Definitely. Yeah, there's such a huge caliber of players, very, very casual to the sweatiest video gamers in the history of video gamers. Just like,
it's appealing to all levels.
Yeah, it's and there's not too many games that can really say they achieved that with their player base. So it is really cool seeing everyone's different play style. Like everyone I've talked to so far of all the WoW players, all of you guys play differently and approach Old School differently, which is so cool. Whereas on World of Warcraft, like, there's players sweatier than others, but everyone's basically like on the same ride. So, everyone's got that final destination of, okay, best in slot gear, that specific raid with everyone else. That's where we're headed. Whereas on Old School, it's like, you have no idea what anyone's up to at any point. You don't know what anyone's goal is. You don't know. You can't predict what they're thinking because they could just be doing anything. So it's very interesting to see what people choose to do to progress in this game. It's really cool.
No, I agree completely, for sure.
Where is your account around like combat level, quest progression? Like, where would you say you are?
I think I'm around. I hit 1,000 level.
Oh, did you get 1,000 total?
Yeah, I hit 1,000 total. I'm at 62 quests, and my strength, attack, and defense was around 60, and my combat is added up to 74 with that.
Nice. That's a good mid-level area. Being that far into the game, and especially going in blind, what would you say like your favorite experience is gameplay wise? Like, what do you most look forward to doing when it comes to progressing? At
this point, I would say it's the quests.
Yeah.
I feel like the quests are kind of like the rewards from skilling up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I work on the skills in order to be able to do the quests. And the quests it's such a surprise every time because you don't know what you're going to get. Like, is it going to be some difficult combat? Is it going to be a ridiculous quest line? Is it going to be like something funny, something weird, something, I don't know. Like, you just don't know. And that surprise is always interesting. Or some really difficult puzzles that happens too, especially when you don't play with quest helpers. Some stuff is really, really difficult.
Yeah, I wouldn't dream of doing some of the puzzles in this game without at least a wiki guide open or something. There's so many crazy puzzles that it's just like, what's going on? But it is very satisfying doing it without a guide.
Yeah, at least as much as possible. I've been told that some of the quests do become extremely ridiculous, and I should probably at least opt into using wiki.
Yeah.
But for now, I've managed to not use that. But I sometimes do a thing where if I'm really stuck on something, I don't like taking hints. But what I do is sometimes ask my viewers to give me like a yes or no. So I ask a question, for example, am I in the right area to be progressing this? And then they say yes or no.
That's a pretty good system. I'm glad you're experiencing it that way. And I think the chat helping just like with yes and no is definitely a good, much needed system, I would say.
Yeah. Like if I've been stuck for like half an hour, then it's about time.
Yeah. One of my friends,
it depends.
He's on YouTube. His name's Alien Food. And he's actually played RuneScape before. Like he had done like the quests in the game like 5 years prior to starting a series, and he started a series just going in doing everything completely guideless, like the entire game guideless. And even as somebody who's like gone in and played through the game for the most part, guideless is still crazy. Like there are some things that you just will never realize like how little hints there are like by the game itself. Like there's some ridiculous problems with like the early quests and stuff. I'm sure you've come across a few of them by now, but there's just, you never know.
Yeah, there's been some really tricky ones.
Yeah, it's just, some of them just so nonsensical. So it's always a mystery what you're getting into, especially without a guide. Has anyone told you about any like the high level content, or are you just kind of like wait until you get there?
No. Yeah, like I've heard of things like Fire Cape.
Gotcha.
But I don't know what content it entails. I keep it kind of like I don't want to know anything.
Nice. That's gonna pay off. That's definitely gonna be a really cool experience. Like just stumbling upon like where content is.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah,
that'll be really cool. So right now, do you have any set in stone goals?
I always just have like overarching goals, which is the way that I enjoy games, which is complete everything. So what I would love to do eventually is complete every single quest, for example. And that in itself does kind of like force me to do a lot of other things in the game too, because many quests require a lot of different skills. So then I have to work on all of those different skills. And while I do that, I might be like, you know what? Like I actually really want to push the skill to like this level. Like I got my agility to 60. I didn't really need it right now, but I noticed there's a lot of exploration which like makes it easier if you have agility. So I felt like, you know what? I want to push my agility a bit because it feels nice to have.
Yeah.
So I don't have that many like super immediate goals. I just have like these overarching ones where I want to complete every quest. And then from that, I will work on the skills that I need. Depending on which quest I want to do first, I will, get that skill to that level and so on. Yeah.
I would definitely say like the quest cape is always like, I'll always tell people to go for that goal because that's my favorite cape, my favorite content in the game. And I think from a more
I think quest is the best thing in the game.
Yeah. I'll die on that hill for sure. I guess from a more completionist thing, because like you can look at collection log, but collection log, like filling that out it would take 30 years. But
collection log I think is a bit too much.
I think
from what I've seen,
achievement diary cape would probably be like perfect completionist goal to eventually go for it down the line. Like, it's still a really tough thing to get, but definitely doable.
Yes, I've actually started doing them a little bit. So I completed Varrock easy, Lumbridge easy, Korend easy, Karamja easy, and Ardo easy. So I was going to get all of them done on easy and then move on to medium. And this is what's so beautiful about the spider web of the game, because a lot of these achievement diaries require certain quests or certain skills. So you're kind of like progressing everything at the same time. That's why it's hard to say, like, I'm going to focus one thing, because usually one thing also touches on like 3 other things.
Exactly.
So you choose one thing, but then you end up playing the whole game.
Yeah. Everything works together really well. They've done a really good job at balancing everything. So I guess that being said, obviously you're thinking to keep Old School a part of this kind of big library of games that you regularly play and stream.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that I want to continue coming back to. And I think collection log is the only thing that I have not tried to progress at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, achievement diaries, quests, skills in general, all of that. And sometimes I check out some mini games as well. Especially if they help towards any of my skills. Like, I really wanted to work on farming, for example. And I then discovered, what is it? How do you pronounce it? Tithe farm?
Tithe farm. Tithe farm, yeah.
Tithe farm, yeah. And now I've been playing that on my iPad. And it actually works really well. So I was able to push my farming, because my farming was really low. It was really bad. But now with that, I managed to push it a little bit. So now I have a way to like progress that, which feels like smooth and easy to do. So yeah, because I think there's some skills which I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And sometimes you unlock certain things, which makes it easy to push it forward.
Yeah, I guess you kind of like make your own paths, like through the skills. Like, you have one goal and it kind of like basically tells you the path to take through the other ones. Yeah. Sometimes that could be overwhelming, but most of the time, if the goal isn't too crazy, it's a pretty clear path of like what to do next, sort of thing. And it's always nice, especially as like an Iron Man, finding the most efficient, or at least a little bit of efficient way of getting to where you need to be. It's, I guess, what makes playing single player so fun. But that's awesome that you've got like goals in mind and you're gonna keep at it. It's really nice to see the WoW players like pretty content on keeping Old School a part of their library of games that they play, and even if it's not on stream, just having it a part of their gaming life a little bit. So
I play on my iPad when I'm not streaming. I just have it on my iPad, can work on the farming or just like chopping some logs if I need more wood. I think I have like 1,000 willow logs right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like doing like little bits of farming here and there. I don't do anything. I would obviously not do any questing off stream. And I also don't discover new content off stream, like new areas or new anything. I don't do that. I also wouldn't do anything that requires combat, because I'm hardcore. So I wouldn't want to accidentally die off stream.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. So I'm like doing safe things off stream, just like a little bit of pushing a few skills here and there.
That's good. That's a good way to kind of treat Old School in the background. I think it's nice that it can have a place like that of just this. I guess the funniest way that I had it put, because I've been on my group Iron Man just chopping away at yew trees for like actually 2 months now. And
really,
Flutton has told me that it has become my idol animation, like how old ladies knit, like how they're just sitting in a corner in a rocking chair knitting. That's me on this game, just chopping trees. God. And I was like, that's a perfect way of looking at it, because that's seriously what it is. Like, it's just this comforting, hilarious, like casual thing to just have going on. So it's a great kind of system for that. But I guess to kind of wrap things up, since we've been talking for so long, I don't want to keep you here too much longer. But
no worries.
The most important question of this whole interview: what would you rate Old School RuneScape out of 10?
Oh God. I hate rating things.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking it. It's a terrible question.
I'm gonna rate it very serious 69 out of 10.
69 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna help my averaging out of everyone's answers, but no. I'll figure that out, I guess.
You just got to put the numbers together.
Yeah, Sardako's answer was actually really interesting, of the fact that the rating of Old School can change depending on, like, everyone has potential to make it a 10, essentially. You just have to set the game up right for yourself. Like, if you're somebody who enjoys playing a single player kind of blind mode, you know, playing Iron Man without quest helper on, or if you're someone who
I see what you mean,
enjoys the efficiency, like toggling on the quest helper and, you know, looking up the guides. So I think the play style of everybody is a huge factor into what everyone would rate it. I think that was a pretty insightful way to look at things, and it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that is actually a really good answer.
Yeah.
No, because I agree. You can play this in so many ways, and I think sometimes that's the mistake that people make, because they might go in and go for I don't know, let's say they go for a PvP focus, but then they actually don't really enjoy PvP.
Yeah.
And now they're like stuck doing something that they don't like, and then they might end up quitting, and it's like, hey, but did you know that there's this other thing that actually makes more sense for your personality? So yeah, that's true. Like that person might have been like, this is a 5 out of 10. But then if they had tried the thing that's actually for them, it might have been a 10 out of 10.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people, I mean, I guess there's a reason that there's like a de-iron option in the game too. You know, it's so you never know if you're going to like the gameplay down the road. Like you might like the mid game and then not really enjoy the end game as a single player sort of thing. So yeah, I guess it really just does depend.
Because you can remove it, right? You're not stuck with it.
Yeah, you can remove it. You can remove your...
which is really good.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, or the main reason was why I chose to play like hardcore and Iron Man was because there's no loss.
Right.
Because if you play hardcore and WoW, you lose your character.
Yeah.
So initially, I was saying, no, I'm not going to play hardcore because I actually want to experience the full game. But then people told me, if you die, you can just continue.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so convenient.
It's like a little
of course I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if I feel eventually that going Iron Man is getting ridiculous, I could always remove that as well. For now, it feels fine because part of wanting to skill up everything kind of means that I have access to everything as well. Because the nice thing with not playing Iron Man is that people could give me things, right? So if I'm trying to level up my my smithing, then people could just give me bars. But I need to work on my mining anyways. So for now, there's no real loss of trying to do it myself.
Yeah.
But maybe sometime in the future, I'll be like, you know what? I am sick of mining, and my mining is already 99. But my smithing is like behind. So I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to de-iron. I need help. Please give me bars. I don't know. So like that option is there, which is nice.
Definitely.
But I think playing Iron Man, I think, makes the game feel more, a bit more quality. I don't know. It makes it feel more like everything that you do truly matters. Whereas if you're given things, I think it simplifies certain hurdles that might make you more likely to then lose interest. Because if you've worked hard on something, then it's more meaningful to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Iron Man definitely makes every inch of progress feel meaningful. Like no matter what you're doing, like every step you take on your character has meaning, it feels like.
Exactly.
That's definitely a good way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have for my questions. Is there anything else like Old School related that you wanted to talk about at all?
I don't know. I could just keep talking around all the things that we've already been saying. But yeah, no, I think the game I think it's an incredible game, and I'm really glad that this sort of like hype around it happened, so I could hop into it properly too, and play a lot. Now I really understand why people enjoy the game, and I also now have a game that I can always, get into. And it's funny you mentioned the housing being a thing since like 2006 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like RuneScape, even in its like classic state, feels so full. Because
definitely.
when you look at classic WoW and compare it to retail, there's so many things in classic WoW which is so broken and like weird. Whereas this one feels full in many ways. Like you have the housing already. You have so many things that you can play around with, and it just makes it such a good experience to be able to see what everyone else has been playing.
Yeah, the depth of it is all really nice. Like there's just so much to experience. Just no matter how many hours you put into it, I feel like there's always something new, something you haven't approached yet. So it's
and so many different things to do too.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, Annie, thank you so much for taking this much time to talk with me about everything. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I really hope that you stick with the goals and everyone gets to watch you get a quest cape, because that would be cool. Guideless quest cape.
Yeah, that would be the
awesome.
Big goal.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Need to get one of those.
Yeah, you do. Get one of those. Thank you so much again to Annie for finding the time to do this. She did this right after streaming, and I know how brutal doing literally anything as a human can be right after streaming, so I really appreciate that, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. All of Annie's links are down below. Make sure to go check out her Twitch, say hello over there, her YouTube, subscribe to that. Why not? Show some support. It was awesome. Next episode's guest is a longtime PvPer, one of the most eccentric personalities I've ever come across on Twitch, embodying a character across any game he plays. You might have heard whispers, maybe even shouts, most likely shouts, actually, of the signature phrase, Bankai. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Showbeck. See you soon.